and the many hardship the people are experiencing throughout Guyana. Mr. Speaker, this budget will pave way for a few to stay the course, and the majority will change course. We know that next year will be 2025, and a lot of courses will be changed next year. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that every time a representative from the PPPC speak for the past few days, that representative is making reference that from 2015 to 2020, nothing was done for the people of this country. But I wish to say, Madam Speaker, that for 23 years prior to 2015, I want to know if the same PPP was in government. So coming here for the past week and saying to the Guyanese population that nothing was done from 2015 to 2020, I want to pose the question, what was done from 1992 to 2014?
Good question.
And the people knows the answer, and there is no need for us to get into that. Mr. Speaker, I wish to present the following points that should be taken into consideration and be implemented before the final piece of budget is approved. This is the largest budget ever, and it will bring a wide range of good and bad with it. The main focus, Mr. Speaker, is that each budget must cause the people to be better off and improve their way of life. This budget widens the gap between the rich and the poor, and we know that only a few are giving the pie. The crumbs are for the poor people. Mr. Speaker, since 2022, the people have been eagerly waiting to hear about the distribution of subsidies and grants to the Guyanese people. But to date, the people collecting the giveaways are closely associated and friends with the PPP. Every cash grant being distributed among the 10 administrative regions, the recipients were identified by operatives at the NDC and the RDC. Mr. Speaker, I turn my attention to East Berbice quarantine, and I want to touch on the education sector. Madam Speaker, it is worthy to note that there is much need for the reform of the Education Act, Chapter 3901, and I wish to draw the attention of the Honorable Minister for Education and Legal Affairs that in this country, we have a system whereby compulsory education is from 5/9 to 49. Madam Speaker, I am suggesting and proposing that the Education Act be reviewed so that we can be able to keep our young people longer in school. So, at the moment, a child at 15 can opt not to be present in school. I am suggesting that the relevant individuals put system in place so that we can reform the Education Act and ensure that compulsory education be extended to age 16, so that all our children at secondary school will have the opportunity to complete secondary education. Madam Speaker, at the moment, annually, 4,500 to 6,000 children drop out of school every year. And this is because of the poor administrative policies that we have as it relates to compulsory education. If we extend from 49 to 16 years, it means then that we will be able to capture and keep our young people for another 2-3 years in school so that the dropout rate will be reduced. I am suggesting that we work in collaboration to ensure that compulsory education moves to the age of 16. Mr. Speaker, in moving that, we will ensure that 4, 5, 6,000 of our children remain in school, making them eligible and marketable to change their life and the life of their family. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I welcome the 45,000 cash grant. But in the fastest growing nation, we can give more. Mr. Speaker, a child traveling from Rosal to Berbice High School or New Amsterdam Secondary pays $3,000 per week to attend school. And when we give handouts and when we give tokens to people, and when we give cash grant, we feel as if that is everything. But this is a child living at Rosal, travels to Berbice High School on a daily basis. The family pays $3,000 a week, and the academic school year is 39 weeks. 39 by 3 is $117,000 academic year. And you are giving 45,000 to say, take that. Madam Speaker, I am proposing that we put systems in place so that all of our children traveling to school must have free transportation. If not, give them the money so that they can pay. Madam Speaker, a child traveling from Skellen to New Amsterdam, Berbice High School or New Amsterdam Multilateral, pays $1,500 a day to go to school. $1,500 a day to go to school. 39 weeks, Madam Speaker, 292,500 a child pays from Skellen to go to school for 39 weeks. Madam Speaker, people who sit in this honorable house don't feel that expense because they can call the taxi and they have pickups and drop off. But the poor people living in Region 6, whose children awarded a place at Berbice High School and Amsterdam Secondary, have to dive down into their pockets to find 292,500 a year to send their children to school if they want to maintain them at Berbice High School or New Amsterdam. Right? Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I wish to say that 2015 to 2020, APNU AFC, under the leadership of David Arthur Granger, implemented the 5Bs program. Without $1 trillion budget, we had 5 big buses running in Region 6. And these were buses purchased by private citizens, donated to the regions, so that our children can have access to education. 5 budgets after 2020, and we only have 6 buses. So without $1 trillion budget, we had 5 free buses transporting children across Region 6. And well, I am coming to that, honorable member. And now we have 5 budget, and still we cannot transport our children. And to the honorable minister, how much children fit in the buses? During David Granger time, the buses were 60-seater. So we are replacing 5 60-seater with 6 30-seater. Are we going forward or are we going backward? You are replacing 5 60-seater buses with 6 30-seater buses. Are we improving? Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, on education, why is it that the children in Region 6 did not receive exercise books 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023? This is something that happened across the country. 2015 to 2020, we had no $1 trillion budget, but children received. It will be good, Honorable Sanjeev Dattadin, if somebody could have put a picture and give the children free books. But it seems as if though that is not there. Madam Speaker, I wish to turn my attention to the school feeding program. Without a $1 trillion budget, we are able to provide meals, juice and biscuit for the year 1, year 2 nursery, year 1, year 2 primary, grade 1, grade 2 primary, and grade 6. We are having the biggest budget ever, Madam Speaker. Why can't we put system in place that all our nursery and primary children will have a breakfast at school? We are proposing, then move quickly if you are moving. Don't wait for another budget. We are proposing that as of now, all our children at the nursery and primary level be given a meal so that they will be in school. The nursery, year 1, year 2, grade 1, grade 2, and grade 6, the meals, very much appreciative. Parents are very, very happy for it. What about the children in the grade 3, 4, and 5? Madam Speaker, as it relates to health, I want to say to this Honorable House that we have to be a bit more careful as it relates to health. Things happening in Region 6 as it relates to health. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, Region 6 is under tight pressure. And we know that customary, the ambulance normally transport the sick and those who need medical attention. But not so long ago, under the PPP administration, the ambulance is being used to transport chicken. I don't know if these are dying chicken or already dead. But imagine how we are being, imagine the level of operation that we are using our health facilities to transport chicken for sale. This is in the news. One official close with the PPP had to resign because of the situation. I must commend the doctors at the New Amsterdam, Port Royal, Blackbush, Skellen Hospital, and all the health centers for doing fairly good, despite the poor working condition and meager pay. And ask the Minister of Health, why is it that under 5 budget, we have more than 120 nurses in Region 6 leaving the system, more than 20 doctors in Region 6 leaving the system? Why is it that this is happening? Madam Speaker, we will be having a 3-story state-of-the-art hospital in Fort Kanji. But we know what happens when the big contract goes out. And we know what happens when a big contract goes out. We cannot fix Copan, Blackbush, Skellen, and the existing New Amsterdam Hospital to be up and running as state-of-the-art. But we want to build a 3-story whereby we have shortage of medical personnel and poor service in many of these facilities to have more money for. Why can't we use that money to put another story at the Amsterdam Hospital? Expand Poporan, expand Blackbush, modernize all the existing hospital. Why are we so much into having a 3-story? We have New Amsterdam, Poporan, Skeleton, and Blackbush. Then when we have blackout, pipe now run, toilet can't flush. You understand? Why can't we up the standard of the system that we have instead of going to build a 3-story? So if we fix Skeleton Hospital, we facilitate people in the upper quarantine and Suriname. We want to build New Amsterdam, a 3-story, put more cost on the people traveling from the quarantine to go to New Amsterdam to join long lines. Are we moving forward? We need to bring the service to the people where they live, not to travel miles to get to facilities. Madam Speaker, the $8,000 given to females to assist in tests for cervical cancer is very, very important. Very, very appreciative. It's a good venture. We know that we need to take care of our females, and not only our females, but all Guyanese. But, Madam Speaker, I am proposing that instead of having our individuals, our patients, our females, everybody traveling to Jharkhand to do a test for cervical cancer, why can't we use some money to build a cancer institute in Barbish so that the people in Region 5 and Region 6 can have access there? Everybody. Jharkhand I'm representing Region 6, so you can represent Essequibo. I am saying that we, the people in Region number 6, we need a cancer institute in Region 6. You're giving $8,000 to help with the test, but the people have to pay $20,000 to travel to Jharkhand. So you're giving $8,000 and I have taking $20,000 to travel to Jharkhand. Madam Speaker, are we bringing service to the people, or are we putting the people in more expense? Mr. Speaker, I am suggesting again, we need to have a cancer institute in Berbice so that thousands of our brothers and sisters who have to travel to Jharkhand at high cost can have the access and service right there. That's right. Mr. Speaker, I indicated about the blackout and the water. Imagine our public facilities. This includes our schools as well. We have our schools in Region 6. When there is a blackout, toilet don't flush. We have thousands of children using these education facilities. I'm saying we need to have a system in place so that our children and those who are in need of the service can have access. Most of the systems that we have are automatic. So when there is blackout, no water. I asked the Honorable Minister responsible for housing and water when systems can be put in place so that we can still have water when...
Honorable Member, you require an extension to continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I do move that the Honorable Member be given 5 minutes to conclude.
Granted. Please conclude your...
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I turn my attention to the Ministry of Labor and Public Service. In Berbice, Madam Speaker, there are many public servants who are not receiving their salaries according to their qualifications and years of service. I want to bring to the attention of this Honorable House that we have public servants at different sectors having similar qualification but different salary scale. We have teachers with their trained teacher certificate and their degrees having X scale, and we have regular public servants in the public service with their qualification and they are not having the same scale. Even though we have individuals who are far more qualified in one sector, not having the benefits like the person in the other sector. The typical example is serving at the education department. The education officer supervises the teacher, the head teacher, and the head teacher is receiving a higher salary than the education officer who is supervising the head teacher. So we are saying that we need to have system in place in the public service whereby the supervisor, once you have the prerequisite, the qualification in the service, you have the capacity to serve and to manage and to guide our head teachers. You ought to have a better scale and salary. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, as it relates to human services, I want to say to this Honorable House, the $3,000 seems as if though it is a big thing for us. But let me remind this Honorable House that in 2013, old age pension was $12,500.
It got there because great. You have to deal with it from the time to get to the
12,500. And you know what happened in 2014?
Parliament got
It was moved from 12,500 to $13,125. And now the PPP comes here to say old age pension and public assistance, big story for the PPP. I want to say that 2015 under AP and UAFC government, old age pension moved from $13,125 to $17,000 without the $1 trillion budget.
yeah. Another
Let it be registered, without the $1 trillion budget. Old age pension was moved from $13,125 to $17,000. And now we are having, Madam Speaker, 2023, 33,000 old age pension and $1 trillion budget. We are moving now to 36,000. We are literally giving our old folks $100 a day. $100 a day. As the Honorable Member made mention, we are giving them 5 sweetie a day. 5 mints a day. Honorable Madam Speaker, Provision are receiving, Guyanese are receiving old age pension $1,000 a day to live, to pay their bills, and to make ends meet. We are proposing that this money can reach 40,000 with a surplus of cash that we have at the moment. Madam Speaker, the PPP administration is always talking about the 200 taxes that was laid. To date, we have not seen a list with the 200 taxes. But I want to say to the Honorable House that it was the PPP. It was the PPP who brought VAT in this country, not APNU, reduce VAT. And we are hoping that with this $1 trillion budget, you will put VAT to 5%. But you cannot do that because you love what VAT is doing to the poor people. We are suggesting lower VAT, then you will. But we know what will happen. Madam Speaker, as it relates to support for the 2024 budget, as it remains, if it remains in the same manner, then I do not support.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member.